Yeah. Okay, so yesterday we were discussing about the student class, that how you can create a class, what things you have to keep in your mind while creating a or developing a class. Okay, so yesterday we discussed that whenever we are creating any class, actually class is a collection of objects having similar properties. So yesterday we were trying to design two classes. One, we tried to design a student class, and the same time we have tried to design a student class. So you have seen that how we design a class, actually the class totally depends on the properties. So as you define as much as property, your class will be unique. Okay, so now today what we have to discuss, you have defined the properties in your class like student roll number, student name, student class, student age, student subject. In this way you can define multiple properties which is you can say eligible for this student class. Is it okay? Now the question is that this is just the name of the property. So when you will create the object, or when any object will be there, you are going to store some value for that object, yes or no? Like for roll number, it should contain some value, right? Like it should contain 1 2 3 something like that, any value, yes or no?
Yes.
And for student name, the value should be, there should be some value. So what will be the difference between the student roll number and student name value? I'm sure that a student roll number will contain the numeric value, right? And the student name will contain the alphanumeric value. So what is the difference between the numeric and alphanumeric value? I think everybody know that numeric means I'm talking about that 1 through 1 2 3 something like that. And alphanumeric, which contains everything, your alphabets, your characters, right? Everything. So what happens if you want to store some numeric value in your student roll number property of this class, you have to tell your class, you have to tell Java that I have a property student roll number, and I want to store only the numeric value. How you tell it? Just before the name of the property you define its data type. So actually today we are discussing the topic data type. Okay, so you will see, before every property, if you are declaring any property, before every property, it is mandatory to define its data type. You will able to see the error is gone from line number 6, but still the error is coming on line number 7. Reason is that you have not defined the property. So when you want to store any alphanumeric value for any property, the data type will be string. Are you getting my point? It means for numeric value, numeric value, the data type will be int. For alphanumeric value, the data type will be string. And now we can take the example. Let me, for the timing, let me remove this thing. Okay. Now for student age, suppose we want to store the decimal values. So if you want to store some decimal value, the data type for decimal value is float. Okay, so in the same way we have so many properties, and on the basis of that properties Java has defined multiple data types. Now we can give a property something like that is old student. So now tell me, this property should contain the answer in yes or no. Yes or no? There are two values, only two values are possible. The student can be an old student of the same school, or he can be a new student. Yes or no?
Yes.
And when you want to store such values, when you want to store such type of values, where you are storing the answer in the form of yes or no, so indirectly it is also known as true and false.
True or
So
false?
what is the value, what is the data type for that? Boolean.
Boolean.
Okay, so time to time I will tell you about each and every uses where you are going to use it, but here just you have to understand that whenever you are defining any property can exist but with data type. Property name alone cannot exist in a class, because property name or property is going to hold some value in the memory. So what type of value it is going to hold, that depends on the data type. So in Java, for every property, it is mandatory to define the data type. For numeric numbers, like if you want to define the complete numbers, 1 2 3 complete number, 78 79, any big number without decimal, you will go for int. Now second thing, if you want to store any alphanumeric value, alphanumeric means everything, alphabet, characters, everything, you will use the data type. When you want to store the decimal value, you will use float. Yeah, whenever you want to store the value like true and false, is answer should be in yes or no, you will go for Boolean. In the same way, we have also a data type. Suppose sometime happen, you want to store the value in the form of single character. Are you getting my point? In the form of single character. I can take a for this class, instead of this class, I can take example, a general example. Like suppose that is not applicable for student, but for example purpose, I'm giving you like marital status. Okay, suppose you want to store a value marital status. So now if the expected value can be, what can be? Married, unmarried, right? Sometimes people say that widow, divorce, something like that. So actually you want to store the different marital status. So you have one option. You will store the complete value, male, right? Yes or no? And you can store female also. In this way you have different properties like widow and divorced. So what happens in this case, you can store this value, but sometime to you can say to save the memory, not only in the Java, in database also. In database also, what we can do, if you want to store this value, actually instead of storing the whole value, you can make it symbolic. How? If you want to store, if anybody is male, you are going to store only single character M. Are you getting my point? For male, you are going to store only M. Okay. Or if a person is unmarried, you are going to store U. Is it okay?
Okay. One question I have here,
Yeah.
like we are shortening, here the names, for example. So this will also affect the performance of the program, right?
No, no, no. Come again. Come again. I didn't get you.
No, now like marital status, we are not storing it as a complete string, but a single character. So like as
Yes.
you were saying that we have to optimize the data should be
Yes.
less. So this will also affect the performance of the program, right?
Yes, exactly. Performance of the
Okay.
program also, and same concept. Actually, yesterday I told you, whenever you create any class in Java, actually in the real development, this class present a table in the database. Like, so
Correct.
if you have heard about that, if you have think about that, that in the database there is a special data type that is called character. If you want to store a single character in the database, you can store it. So how you can utilize that data type? Instead of storing the complete value of marital state, you say that whenever somebody want to choose married. Okay, I have given the wrong example. It should be married. I was saying married. I was typing the male. Okay, so marital status is married. So for married, you will say M. For unmarried, you are going to store U. For widow, you are going to store U. And for divorce, you are going to store W. And for divorce, you are going to store D. So actually, with the help of this type of data, you are actually saving the memory. So how you can store a single character? The data type is called char. This is called char, right? We can also use the data type string also, but the thing is that in case of a string, we have to use the complete value, like complete value, complete string married. So actually, when you want to use a single character, you can utilize this. Are you getting my point?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, now you have learned this data type that you want to store integer, complete number, you will use int. Whenever you want to use alphanumeric, you will go for a string. When you want to store decimal value, you will go float. When you are going to store the value in yes or no form or true or false form, you will use boolean. And whenever you want to use the single character, you will use char. Now you will see these are the data type. Okay, now one more thing you will understand in data type, this is called range. Okay, so I'm not going to talk about so much about the range, only I will give you one example. Right, tell me what happens that suppose you want to store some value in the student roll number, and you know that the maximum value which you want to store in the roll number, that will not go beyond 800. Suppose I'm taking the example that will not go beyond 800. Is it okay? So what will happen? The value, it means value for student roll number, there is a range of value that is between suppose 1 to 800. Is it okay? Suppose I'm taking the example. Is it okay?
Okay. Okay.
So now think about that. I have, what happens that if we want to store some value that is going beyond the 800, is it possible to store in int if int is presenting to range of 1 to 100? Int cannot store it, like, right? Because int has defined a range between 1 and 800. So if you want to store some more value, greater than value beyond this range, you have to again use a same type of data, integer value, but the range should be little bit greater. So what happens? A new data type that is called long. Okay, so what is the difference between the long and int is that int also store the numeric value, long also store the numeric value. Only a difference is that the range of integer is less and the range of long is little bit greater. Are you getting my point?
Yes.
So now you will ask that why they have created the range of the data type also, why they created introduce in Java, so you can understand with the real life example. Tell me one thing. Here we are going to store some value in our property. So why they have given they have defined a range for it, so that you cannot waste your memory. I will give you the example, real one example. Suppose take the example, I will again take the example of household thing, like suppose take the example of kitchen. In kitchen, you know that when you want to store any material like salt, sugar, what will be the maximum quantity you are going to store? I think maximum quantity will be 1 kg. Yes or no? 1 kg or 2 kg you are going to store in your container. But if you want to store your rice or flour, at least the quantity will be 5 or 10 kg. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes.
So you
Yes.
know that
Yes.
when you are going, so it means whenever you are going to take some storage, it totally depends on that what type of data, what size of data you are going to store it, what type of data you are going to store it. So that's why you have seen that in your you can say, basically I'm talking about taking the example of kitchen, that is a very good one, that if you want to store some tea, sugar or salt, definitely you are going to take a container or jar of only 500 or 1 kg. Reason is that you know that you will not go beyond that. Now tell me, if for storing the salt, sugar, this type of item, if I will take a jar of 5 kg, what will happen? What will be the happen? What will be the drawback?
The empty space will be wasted in the jar.
Yes. Yes. So what will happen? You know that maximum value you want to store, you can store, that is 1 kg. It means if you are using a 5 kg container for storing the sugar or salt, always 4 kg space is wasted, and it will occupy your kitchen space. Yes or no? Because container is big, but only the useful part is 1 kg. Yes or no?
Correct. Correct.
Second thing, it means you can assume that this container is something like a memory. So if you want to, you know that the maximum amount, the maximum thing which we want to store in this particular property, we should try to take the a definite range, a range which is very closer to your value. Okay, now same example, if you want to store something like I told you, rice or flour, you will always take a big container, because you know that always maximum, the possibility of maximum value can go to the 5 kg. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
So that's why they have defined a range int and they have defined the range long. In the same way, they have defined for everything. So for example, you can go into the detail of range you want to go. Nobody is going to ask you so much about that, but I will show you a range. For one example, I will show you RAN, range of integer, range of, you can say, first of all, before that, instead of that, I can show you difference, DIFFERENC, difference between int and long. So in this way, you can just understand what is the difference. Okay, you can see here. They have given you very, very long explanation, you can say. Here you can understand. Here you can say, this is the minimum value of int is minus this one, and the maximum value is 2 to power 31. So it is something like they have defining the range. If you want to store any number which should lie between this range, right, you should take the integer. If your data will go beyond that, then you should take this long. Are you getting my point? So here I'm just want to tell you that most of the time what will happen in your automation, I am sure that you are not going to use long for that, because your requirement will be fulfilled for your integer also. But you should understand why they have defined different of data only to save the memory. Is it okay? Now you can go and check different type of data types in the article, and you will see in the detail of that different data types in Java. Okay, so here you will see different data types in Java, and only what you have to understand here, this one, I've told you this one, Boolean, byte, character, short, long. So you will see here, you can see only the differences in terms of if they are going to use different type of data or in terms of range. Okay, so I will give you a proper, you can say proper some good article, and will show you, or you can say give you in your WhatsApp. Okay, so let me do it. So I'm not going to waste on time on that. Okay, so now this thing is completed, that whenever you are going to define some property, you have to define the its data type, as well as you have to define its data type. Okay, so now I will show you. Let me remove this data types. I will only take the example of three properties. One is int student roll number, one is student name, and third one is I'm taking the example of a string student school name. Okay, now we have three properties here. One is student roll number, one is a student name, and third one is student school name. So actually we have defined a class, that now I'm saying that this class is a group of objects which contain three properties: student roll number, student name, and student school name. I'm going to tell you some concept. That's why I've tried to reduce the properties so that I can explain you easily. Okay, so now the thing is that this is a class. This is a class, and this is a class. It contains property, right? After that, sometime you will see a very good definition of a class. That is another definition, and that is class is a, anybody know, class is a blueprint. Anybody heard about this, that class is a blueprint? Yes or no?
Yes, or
So
it
any,
can be classified as template as well.
yes, so that is called class is a blueprint. Yes, very good. You can say it is a blueprint, or you can say also a template. So now tell me, anybody know what is template and what is blueprint? What is the quality of blueprint, or what is template actually? Anybody know?
Architecture.
Yes, you can say that is the architecture, right? So anybody and heard this name blueprint or template anywhere you have heard?
Yes.
Where? Can you give me any example for that?
Test case template.
Yes, you can say test case template. I can also give you the example. Whenever you try to create a, you can say PowerPoint PPT, you simply say that when you click on a PowerPoint, it is asking blank presentation, and you are able to see these things. What is these things? These things are template. So what is that? What is the meaning of template? It is actually by default giving you a structure of a slide. And now what we'll do, when you create a new PowerPoint, it will give you a copy of that template. Yes or no? You work on a copy of a template to make your presentation. So actually you are not working on the original template, because template is still there. Every time you will open this PowerPoint, every time you will see template is still there. Yes or no? So when you click on it, actually you get a copy of that. Yes or no?
Yes.
So actually template is something like that. That is only the structure. And when you want to use a template, actually you create a copy of that. So here how you can compare it, template is just like a class. You have defined a structure. Okay, this will be the background of your slide. There should be some green color, red color, text will be lower level, it should be uppercase. So you have defined only the template. When somebody you want to use your this template structure, he will also make a copy, and in its copy he is going to change the value of text, right? So he is working on the copy. So when compared, template is actually just like a class, and what is the copy? Copy is actually a real object. Are you getting my point? So without creating the object, you cannot use the template. I can give you the another example also. What is blueprint? Or Have you heard about also a term we will use, that is white paper? White paper, you have used the term, or you have heard the term in your IT. You have heard this white paper blueprint? No, white paper, anybody heard? Not heard about the white paper? No.
No.
Okay, I will tell you what is white paper. And white paper is simply in the same way, it is some similar like a blueprint. Okay, so now first of all, understand what is a blueprint. Okay, I will give you the very, very good and funny example. What happens if you have seen the Hollywood movies or Bollywood movies? So sometimes you have seen that if the story is totally based on a spy who want to go to another country to steal their missile. Are you getting my point? They want to steal the missile. So when a spy goes to the another country, they don't actually steal the missile. They always try to steal the blueprint. Are you getting my point? They always try to steal the blueprint. And what is the reason behind that? Anybody can tell me?
They can make another similar missile with the help of the blueprint.
Yes, actually blueprint is nothing. Blueprint, somebody told me right thing, that blueprint is nothing. It is just like a architecture. It is just like a structure. It is just like a diagram. So what happens actually, whenever any country develops anything, they first of all try to create a blueprint for it. Blueprint means every detail is there. For example, for the missile, it will specify the design of the missile. It will specify what is the capacity of this missile, how it is going to work. Every structure is defined in the blueprint. And whenever they want any missile, actually using this blueprint, they actually create a real missile. So blueprint is just like a structure. Okay, and what is the actual implementation? When you create a real missile for using that structure, following the rules of that blueprint, you create a real one. So that blueprint is just like a structure, and your real missile is that a object. So why I'm telling you the example, can you tell me, you have a blueprint, for example, same thing, we have a class, or you can say we have a blueprint. You have a blueprint of a missile. Can you trigger a real missile, or you can trigger, or you can use that blueprint to trigger a missile? Yes or no?
No.
No, because it is just like a structure which is written on a paper. I can give another example also. Nowadays, it is very popular that people are facing the COVID problem. So here you can see every country is trying to create a medicine or vaccine for that. So now tell me, you know that the vaccine which is created by different countries, actually what they are doing, if they want to provide their vaccine to another country, okay, and what is the thing is that if they are unable to provide the actual vaccine, what they provide to them, they provide the formula. Yes or no? That how you can create the vaccine, you have to use the different elements of this compound and you can create a vaccine. Are you getting my point?
Yes.
Okay, and same way you can see that in your daily life, whenever you feel any fever, okay, so you simply go to the, you can say your doctor, or you can say you directly go to the chemist and you ask that I'm suffering from fever. So what he do, he actually provides you different type of medicine, right? But what is the common factor of medicine? That for fever they have to use a combination of different compounds. Like there should be a paracetamol, there should be some antibiotics should be there. So all these things combined together makes a medicine for the fever. So actually, whoever the company, different companies are there, galaxies, different companies are there. So every company, what they try to create, they try to create a formula for that. And once the formula is there, they can create multiple number of medicine, multiple copies of medicine. So what is the base thing? Formula. Yes or no? Which is somewhere written in a paper, which is written somewhere in the document. But if the formula is written in a document, everything is written, can we take that paper and our fever will be gone? Yes or no?
No.
Because this everything is written there, but still that is a structure. So what thing I want to convey to all of you, that class is something like a structure. I am saying that, I'm telling you that a student is a class which contains these properties. But if you want to see the real things about a class, you cannot see without real objects. Yes or no? Now I will give you another good example. What is that? Take the example. You have, suppose you have created a school. Okay, you have created a school. School is there, building is there, and you created different type of rooms there to create different classes. You will say this is class 7, this is class 8, and this is class 9. So you have created a beautiful structure of a school. Every class is there, but there is no student, right? So can you tell me, if anybody want to audit class 7 and no student is there, can the auditor audit the class?
No.
No. Reason is that he will go to the class, he will say, okay, this is class and written is class 7. Maybe books are there, maybe everything is there, right? But how he is going to audit the class? Because without the real object of this group, there should be a real object of that group, and that is the student of that class. If the single student will be there, at least the person can ask everything related to the student. So are you getting my point? That student, this is simple a class. It is just like a blueprint. This is just like a template. If you want to utilize this property, if you want to use this property, you have to create a real object. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Yes.
So now how you are going to create an object? First of all, understand this thing. So I'm going to do one thing. This is a student class, and suppose anybody want to use this class. So how they can use this class? First of all, I can take the example of Deepak. Okay. I'm going to present Deepak just like a class. Here Deepak will create a main function, and Deepak want to use the structure of a student class. So how he can use the structure of a student class? He will create the object. How? student, student, and before student he will write, he will use student, this bracket, and before student he will write new. So when you are writing this line of code, what it will do? It will create a object of this class. It will create a real object of this class. If you want to create two objects, you will write this line 2 times. If you want to create 3 objects, you will write this line 3 times. So whenever you want to create any object of any class, you always write this line of. Okay, now you will see what happens when you are creating this object. What do you mean by object? Reason is that if I will run this code with a single object, if I will run this, you will not see any impact here. Are you able to see any impact here? Okay, everybody, yeah. Okay, anybody want to see, anybody able to see any impact? I've run this code. Have you seen anything here?
No.
So what will happen when you are creating the object? How you will understand that what happens when you create the object? So actually what happens, that you will learn in this way. So I'm going to show that what happens when you create an object. Why I'm saying that real object should be created to use the structure of a class. So you can assume it. This is my whole memory. So what happens whenever you write this line of code new, and in this way you write student and this bracket. So actually when you write this line of code, what happens? It goes to the student class and sees that how many properties are defined there. And this is for every class. Whenever you create an object of any class, you will write this code new. In case of employee, you will write employee. Okay, and when this code will run, it actually goes to the class. It goes to the respective class and just check how many properties are defined. Okay, so you have defined how many properties? 3. So how is going to create object? First of all, because you have written this line new student, it will go to the memory and allocate a particular space for this object. It means he will allocate, this is the memory for first object. Means he has decided that I'm going to store this object in the memory. He will allocate this memory as a round circle I'm giving. Now how many properties it has to save within it? 3 properties. So he will say, okay, here it is defined property, and before that it's data type. So he will do one thing. Within this property, he will allocate the memory individually within this object. One is for student roll number. Okay, and when he defines the property, at the same time he understood that I'm defining a memory for a student roll number, and the type of memory will be only, what type of memory will be? Integer.
Integer.
Only numeric things can be stored, and that thing is already decided at the time of creating object. Second, he will see, oh, second property is student name. So what it will do, again he will go and create another space within the object. The circle is the whole object, and within the object he will create the another location, and here he will mark it, this is for student name. And what is the quality of this memory? That it is going to store only the alphanumeric values. Is it okay? Now it will go to the third property, because every property, I told you that object contains every property. So what happens, this object is going to store the third property also. So he will specify the space here for the third property, that is student school. Is it okay? Anybody have any doubt that when this line code will run, it will do only this thing? It will create a memory in the form of circle. I'm just giving the example that it's a circle. Don't tell this thing in the interview that the memory of object in the circle. Okay, I'm just taking the example. So the circle is presenting the whole object, and within the object you are allocating, or Java has allocated the memory for individual property. Now, if I'm going to write this line of code again, tell me what will happen. If I'm writing this line of code again and the Java will run, so it will come to the line number 6 and then come to the line number 7. So I have written the code to create two objects. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes.
So it means same thing will happen again in the memory. Yes or no?
Yes.
If you are going to write this code 3 times, same thing will happen 3 times. Okay, now whenever somebody asks you how you can create the object of a class, simple, write new and the class of the name and this symbol. Okay, so this thing happened. Now I'll show you what happens. If I'm saying that I have created one object, then I have told you that it will create another object. Now tell me that when the execution reach at line number 8, when the execution is reach line number 8, I want to store some value in the roll number property of this first created object. Are you getting my point? My control reached to the line number 8. Now I want to store some value in the student roll number, but for which object? First object. Can I do it? Tell me yes or no.
Yes.
How?
You can access its roll number.
How you will access?
Student dot.
No. That's why I am telling you this thing. In Java, what happens? This is first statement, right? This is first statement. This is semicolon. Means when the control execute this statement, control goes to the next line. Now the control never goes to the first line, before line. The control when come to the line number 8, now it has nothing related to the previous steps. So whatever you have done in this step, you have done only one thing. You have created an object. It means something is created in the memory. Another object is created in the memory. At line number 8, if you want to access that memory, is there anything with you have to access that memory?
We need some reference.
Yes, actually what happens, I can give another example. Maybe that will clear your doubt. Okay, let me tell you one thing. Suppose take the example. Who is not getting this properly? I will give your example and you will understand. Who is you can say a little bit confused? Tell me.
Yeah, I am a bit confused about like again creating an object for the class.
Sir, I am also confused.
Okay, so I will give you the
Yeah,
example.
same.
So you can say, I will take the example of Rashmi. Okay, so Rashmi, tell me one thing. I'm going to give you an assignment. And what is that assignment? I will just ask you to stand in front of a room. Okay, and in front of a room, after that I will tell you that you can consider that room as a memory. I will ask you to stand just outside that room, and I will do one thing. I will give you a balloon. The color of the balloon is blue, and the volume, some air which is filled, suppose you can say that is 1. The unit is 1, and the color of balloon is 1. So means I'm giving a balloon of some size and some color, and I will do one thing. I will tie it and will throw into the room. Okay, or I will do one thing. I will give it to you and will say, can you throw into the room? You will throw it, right? I will give you another balloon of the same color and the same size. I will give it to you and will ask, Rashmi, can you throw into the room? You will throw it. In the same way, I will give you 3-4 balloons. Is it okay, Rashmi? Is it clear?
Yes.
So I told you that room is just like a memory. So your condition is that you cannot enter into the room, right? So now I'm giving one assignment. Can you pinch the second balloon which you have thrown in that room? Can you pinch? Can you burst that balloon?
So I have to go inside only.
But I told you that this is something like that you cannot enter. Same way, tell me, in your program, you are writing a program here. Okay, and everything is saving in the memory, but you are not allowed to go into the memory. Yes or no? Are you getting my point?
Yes.
Now tell me one thing, Rashmi. Now you will say, Pradeep, I cannot enter to the room, and you are saying that how I can burst the second balloon, third balloon, because I have no control on that. Yes or no?
Yes.
But I will ask you again. Just think about that. If I have already told you that this type of assignment I'm going to give you, so maybe you can do a clever thing. What is that clever thing? When I have gave you first balloon, you can do a clever thing. What? You tie a thread. You tie a thread to the balloon, and the second side of that thread, you have knot it in your first finger. Are you getting my point, Rashmi?
Yeah. Oh,
And then you will throw the balloon into the room. But still, when I will ask you to make a action on that balloon, you can do. How? You will use your finger to take the control. Yes or no? You will
yes.
pull your finger and balloon will be in your hand. Whatever action you want to perform, you can do. After that, I will give you another balloon of same color, same size. You will do one thing. Tie another thread on the first side of the balloon, and second side you will tie on your second finger. So now tell me, if I will say, ask to throw 5 balloons, everything is in the memory. But if I will, this time I will tell you that, can you burst the third balloon? You can burst it. Yes or no?
Yes.
Why? What is the reason? Because you have actually take a reference for it before throwing into the room, before throwing into the memory.
Oh,
Are you getting my point?
yes. Yes.
So same thing I'm going to do here. Murtaza, are you getting my point?
Yes, yes.
So same thing I'm going to do. Whenever I'm saying that, when I'm writing this line of code, actually it is going to create an object in the memory. But when you go to the next line, once you have thrown this thing in the memory, it is created in the memory, object is created in the memory, and you goes to the next line, you cannot access it because you have not make any reference. And what is the reference for that memory? The address, the location of that. Yes or no?
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's why whenever you have seen that nobody try to create an object in this way, whenever they try to create an object, they usually write this code as left side. What is that? Student S1. Are you getting my point? Are you getting my point? Now the question is that, what is the benefit of it? So think about that. When the control will come to here, I told you, when one statement of Java is completed, when it finds this semicolon. Yes or no? Then only one instruction is completed. One instruction is only completed when it is ended by semicolon. Is it okay?
Yes.
So what will happen when the control will come to here? First of all, it will do the thing in the memory, whatever he is doing or whatever he has done. He has created this structure in the memory. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
But it will not end the instruction, because semicolon will only complete when the whole instruction is completed. It will create an object in the memory, and same time what happens, it will create a reference for you. How it will create? It will create something like S1 in the program. And what S1 is doing in the program, S1 is actually making a reference, something like that. What happens? S1 is something like that. S1 in your program actually stores the address, or you can say it point to the object. Are you getting my point?
Yes.
So
Yes.
same way, what will happen? If suppose take the example, after that you are creating another object, third object, you have created multiple objects. Suppose without reference you have created. But if you want to work on the first object, this object, don't worry. You can work on that object, because what is the thread? What is the finger for that? S1. So you will access S1 at any point of line. After 1000 line, you will say S1, and you will say it will access all the properties in the object. S1 dot. Are you able to see the roll number? Yes or no?
Yes.
So you will see when I'm writing this line of code, what is going to be happen? You have, when you created the first object, you created a reference also. Now, whenever you want to perform any operation in this object, you are actually performing the action on the object with the help of reference. So you, after 10 line or 20 line or 1000 line of code, you are going to write S1 dot roll number. So what it is going to do, it will refer that where S1 is pointing for the roll number, and it will go into the memory and store the 5. Yes or no? So in current case, where it will go to store the value? Here only. Yes or no?
Yes.
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 Anybody have any doubt, you can ask me. That's why I am very slow in pace, so that you can understand it. Okay, now think about that. I told you what this is the best practice. So what happened here? You have seen after line number 6, I have created the object 7, 8 and 9 in the, but what is that? We have just used some balloons, throw it in the memory. Again, we are not referring it. So it is what happened. These object you cannot refer in your program after line number 9. So it is best practice, whenever you are creating object, same time you have to create a reference. Are you getting my point?
Yes.
So the
Yes.
benefit is that now you are saying that when this object will created, you will create a reference. Reference means just like your one finger, and one finger means you are just giving a name of reference. You are saying that I'm giving this reference name S1. S1 is going to represent or refer first object. S2 is given or point to refer second object. So what is the rule for? It is the name of the reference, and before the name of the reference, you have to tell the type of reference. The type of reference should be same as the type of object. If means if you are creating the object of a student, the type of reference will always be student. Are you? If you want to see, I can show you another thing. Let me take the example of employee. I'm only creating one property to tell you this thing. Integer employee ID. So I'm going to create an object. Tell me. I told you how you can create the object of his employee. Tell me. Tell me. This is the way, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
So I've created the object of a employee. What it will do, it will create a something like that. I can give you another example, same example. It will create a this type of memory, okay, for the employee. And because it contains for the example, it is containing only the one property of employee type, and type is integer, it is going to allocate a single space within the memory. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
So why I'm telling the example of two classes in the parallel, so you can understand this is not specific to the employee class. This is related to the class. Whenever you are going to create a object of a class, it will allocate a memory for that object, and then it will refer that this memory within the object is going to store employee ID value. If it contain multiple values, every value will get the space within the object. Is it okay?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
now this time you want to create a reference. Suppose you are creating this object in your class also. So you know that without reference, you cannot use it in the future, right? So I'm doing one wrong thing and will show what will the error. Here I'm giving the name of reference. Suppose I have given the reference name even. Okay. And even, but the type of this I'm going to give student. And tell me what error you are able to see. Tell me. Tell me.
Mm.
Can anybody read the error for me?
Type mismatch.
पूरा पढ़ो, पूरा पढ़िए. Type mismatch cannot convert.
Convert from employees to student.
It is saying that, it means it is saying that it is creating the object of an employee, and you are trying to refer or trying to store it. Reference is something like that. You are referring or storing it. You are trying to store it in a value of type student. Is it possible? No.
No.
The type of reference and type of object, that should be always same, because in the memory it will capture this information, that when it will refer to the object, how many properties it will get there. Yes or no? Because it will refer all the properties on the basis of object. Just think about that. If it is possible, it is telling that even contains the property. How many property? Employee ID. Yes or no?
Yeah.
And the object is saying that
Yes.
I contains the, oh sorry, even is saying that I contains the property, these three property. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Because the reference type is student and object is saying that I am containing only one property. So how it can refer something different? The both should be in the same page. So that's why when I convert left side also like employee, now it is able to understand that I am going to refer a object. I am going to point to object. The type of object is same as the type of reference. So now it will say I know that how many properties I have to point. I have to point one
One
property.
property.
And in case of a student, it will understand at the time of creating the reference, I am going to create an object which contains three properties. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes.
I will show you very interesting thing also. I'm going to make some printing. Just see what happens. I'm going to print a S1. Only S1 I'm going to print. I'm not printing it. I'm just printing the reference and you will see what answer you will get here. Just see what answer. Very interesting thing. Are you able to see? It is giving you something like that. The path, the complete package of your class, and after saying at the rate, something like this. Yes or no?
Yes.
So actually it is nothing. Whenever you are printing S1 object reference, it is telling you that it is a
Memory
type
location.
of student object and it is the address. Yes or no?
Memory address. Yes.
So now you will understand, if I am going to try to print the S2, the class type will be same, but the address will be different. You want to see? Just see. It is saying that this is the object of a student class. S1 knows about it. And also the address is this one. In the S2, class is same, but the address is. Are you getting my point?
So this is the
Yes.
address of the object, right? What if I want to see the address of the S1 and S2? We
S1
can
is,
directly print. Yeah.
no.
Where
I didn't.
S1 is, yeah.
So actually you can say, if you go into the detail, actually you can say this is not the actual object of, you can say, reference. It is actually it is telling you what is the location of S1. S1 automatically knows the location of object. Are you getting my point? But if I will tell you this thing, you will be a little bit confused. So in the general way, you can say S1 is actually storing the address of this one. Are you getting my point?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
because if you go to, if anybody know Java, if you want to get the actual address, then there is a particular function that is called hash code. If anybody heard about that, they know that when you in that case you have to go into very detail, that is called hash code. So here you can refer it that S1 is going to store the address of object. Is it okay? Now you can see, if I'm going to print E1, what will happen? Just see, I'm going to print E1. Are you able to see what is saying? That this is an employee and this is the address. Yes or no?
Yes.
So it means now you understand. I'm providing a proper time on that so that you understand what is object and reference, because it is going to solve lots of confusions. Is it okay? Is it okay? Now what do you mean by it? Whenever you want to refer any object, actually you refer the object with the help of reference. So now you can see I'm writing S1 dot student roll number equal to 5. Suppose if after line number 8 I'm writing S2 dot student roll number. So tell me this line, what this line will do? Anybody know? Anybody 10? What this line will do
This
in the
will
memo?
assign the value, the roll number to
But where? Where
S2
it will assign the value?
In
to
S2.
S2.
Yes, it is going to assign the value in the S2.
S2.
Reason is that because student property is same, because I told you every object have the same property, but every object have same property, but the value can be different. How it can be different? If every object will get the separate copy of property. So that's why you can see here S1 for S1, this object is presenting all the properties and you can store the value. Whenever you will say S1 dot, it will go here. When you say S2 dot, it will go to the second one. Yes or
Okay,
no?
one
So
question.
yeah,
Yes, so the value of the S1 student roll number and S2 student roll number should be different, right? Because these are two objects are two students with the
it
two different properties, correct?
ideally it should be. Ideally it should be, but
Yeah,
it depends on you, that because the thing is that you are creating the object, so you are free to do it. For example, object is
correct.
something like that. I can give another example. You tell me that is the right thing or wrong. Suppose take the example, you have two kids in your house, means you have two kids,
Mhm.
right? And
Correct.
you have two options that you can give them same name. Nobody is going to stop you. You can give
Correct.
Rahul name for both
Correct.
the person. Yes or no?
Correct. Correct.
But what will happen? It will create a problem for you,
Yes.
that
When
now
I
whenever
call, both will come.
you
Correct.
will say, Rahul, come here, I want to give a chocolate. Both Rahul
Both
will
will
come.
come.
Now you are in trouble. Yes or no?
Correct.
So
Yes.
it means same. Now think about same thing in your company. If your because they have designed the software, you have designed the software in such a way that every employee should get unique ID. Yes or no? But it doesn't mean
Correct.
that you
Correct.
cannot do it. But it doesn't mean you cannot do it. You can ask your developer of a software that please assign the same employee ID to everybody. So it means it is possible, but that is not logically right. Yes or no?
Correct. Correct.
So you are getting my point. It means I
Yes.
should follow this thing. I should write S1 dot student roll number equal to 5. And if I'm assigning the value for S2 roll number, I can do the same thing. You can see here, I'm putting S2 dot roll number equal to 5. I am doing, so it is possible, but that's why I'm saying that why we create a software, so that we can make a constant on that. Yes or no?
Yes.
Now you can see I'm going to print the value for S1 roll number because I've assigned the value. When I print the value, it will give me the same thing, because what happened when I'm assigning the value, it is going to this location and assign 5. When I'm writing this code S1 dot roll number, it will go to that location and read the value this time. Yes or no?
Yes.
So it will same value it has written, same value it is going to read. It's my responsibility
Correct.
to give them unique value. Is it
Correct.
okay?
Correct. Correct.
Great. Okay.
Change to S2 in
Oh,
second round.
yeah, you guys are awesome. You have sharp eyes. Okay, great. So,
So this is what is OOPS, right?
oops is that everything should be treated as a
Object oriented.
object
Yeah,
oriented. So
Pradeep,
you
I have one question.
yeah, please.
Actually, we have create class student and employee separately.
Right, right,
And but we are creating object in class Deepak.
right.
So because we are referring same package, means movie Bollywood. That's the reason there is no means error.
Yes, once I will complete this thing, I will show you that in one case, this code will give you the error. What is the case? So I will tell you that. But don't worry about that. Okay. Maybe I think I have a time, so I can cover it today also. Okay, I will try it. Okay.
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 So
This is
Pradeep, one question,
yeah,
it's
please.
Abhishek. So
Yeah.
although we can create two objects with the same name, right?
We can.
But
Yeah.
okay, so but logically, do we do we generally perform it in our project or what?
So that's why you will see another good thing here. I'm seeing that you have defined your property without any restriction. Now you can make your structure. I told you what is blueprint. In blueprint, you define that the capacity of this missile will be 100 miles or 200 miles, right? Yes or no? So you can make a condition on that. I will show you that currently you have defined your property, only the property name and its data type. Just wait for 1 minute or 2 minutes. You will see I'm going to define another thing for you and you will understand. Is it okay?
Pradeep, I have
Okay.
one question. What's
Yeah.
the use of creating an object like student S1 equal to new student?
So the thing is that if you are not creating any object, you cannot present it in the real world. Like now think about that. Instead of that, what happened? You can take the example a student, or you can take the example just like it is a user. So in how you go, how you store the different users in your system, in your application, how you store it? Tell me. You create a record in your database for that. Yes or no?
Yes.
So you know that what is that record in database? In database, that record is also known as object. You are creating an object in the database that is called record. And what is the different fields of that table? What is the different fields of that table? That are called properties. And what is the name of table? What it represent? Class.
Student table. Yeah, class.
Are you getting my point? It means if you try to understand from the database perspective, you can understand easily. Table name is just like a class. Its fields or columns are properties. So you will see every record you are going to store in this table, that will contain same properties, same fields. Yes or no? Only you can store different values. Yes or no?
Yes.
Are you
Yes.
getting my point? Yes or no? Tell me. If you're not getting,
Yes.
don't worry about that. I can repeat multiple times. Don't make mercy on me. Okay, no. If you're not, you can say getting the point. You can ask me. Are you getting my point?
No, can you explain once again?
Yes, I'm saying that what happens that your database is also designed on the basis of real concept. Like suppose take the example. If you in the real thing, if you want to store the data of a user, like for example, in Amazon, multiple user can you can say register themselves. Yes, sir. Yes or no?
Yes. Yes.
So how you are going to store their data? How you are going to store their data in your application? Actually, you store the data in the database. Yes or no? So how
Yes.
what is the format is used by the database? Okay, the format of the database that you create a table for to store a particular record. It means if you want to store the information of a user, definitely in the database there will be a table of user or user info. Are you getting my point?
Yes.
So that user, what is that table name? Table name is actually presenting here the class. So you can take the example. This employee is a class, and in the database there is a table that is called employee. Is it okay?
Yes.
Now in the database, when you create a table, you create a table. But what is the table? What is the table designed with the help of fields? You define some fields there, columns. Yes or no?
Yes.
So how many columns you define? It depends on the how many properties, how many data you want to store for the user. For example, in Amazon, you will definitely going to store its user ID, its name, its address, something like that. Yes or no?
Yes.
So in database, there will be a table user, and within user, there will be some fields like user name, user address, user age, something like that. So same thing here. For here, it will be a user table and the user class, and within user class, you have different properties. Are you getting my point?
Yes.
Now tell me. Yeah.
Don't you think our table name should be our object basically?
Table, no, don't confuse on that. Table name is not an object. The record is an object. The complete record is a object. Now think about, you can, I will tell you one thing very interesting from your question also. You have created a table. Is it okay? You have defined the field. Is it okay?
Yes.
But you are not storing any record there. Tell me, where is object? Are you getting my point? Same example I've given you. You have a school, you have a class, but there is no student. Are you getting my point?
Yes.
And I told you, what do you mean by object? The real thing. You are telling me this is an employee class. This is a user class. It will contain the record of some users. Some users, like I will store username, password, address, something like that. Where is actual data? Till the time you are not inserting multiple data. And what is the multiple data? You are storing the information of multiple users, and every user is just like a object for that table. Are you getting my point?
Yes.
चलिए मैं आपसे क्वेश्चन पूछता हूं. अगर आपसे मैं पूछूं टेबल, देयर इज अ टेबल, देयर इज अ फील्ड, कोई डेटा नहीं है. आई विल से यू, कैन यू टेल मी द नंबर ऑफ व्हाट इज द डिटेल्स ऑफ अ यूजर? You will say, Pradeep, at least there should be one record. Then I will give you detail of that user. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
So it means table is just like a class. Fields are just like a properties, but if you want to really use the class, you want to really use the table, there should be some records. Yes or no? Otherwise that is useless. It is just like a structure. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes or no? Who is not
Yes.
clear on that? No, who is not clear? I want everybody to be satisfied. Who is not clear? Okay, everybody is clear. So now the thing is that it means whenever you want to use the structure, whenever you want to use the structure of a class, or when you want to present a class, when you want to present a class in your coding, in your database, you should have real object. In Java, the real object is created with the help of this one, new student. Is it now? It is clear.
Yes.
So you can assume it very interesting way also. I'm saying that student roll number equal to 5. I'm saying that student name equal to, I'm going to say, suppose take the example. Let me take another example. I've taken the example of, I will take the example of Jay and Abhi. Okay. So suppose I'm saying that student name is Jay. So now tell me, indirectly, can I say that S1 is presenting to Jay? Yes or no? Can I say it? This S1 is actually presenting the J. How? Student roll number J. The roll number is J is 5, and his name is J. And I can add one more thing. The school name of J is, the school name for J is, I can take any name. J, what name you would like to say for your school?
Silver Oak.
Sorry?
Silver Oak.
Silver Oak. Can you spell it?
SILVEROAK.
SISIL
VER
VER
OAK.
OAK. Great. So now you can see a silver. Oh, wow, it is very tough to pronounce for me. Okay, so here you can say S1 is presenting a data, a object of J. His roll number is 5, name is J, and the student. Oh, sorry. Why have used student name? It should be school name. Okay, maybe student school name. This, yeah. So a student school name for S1, the school name is Silver Rock. Okay, now tell me, if I want to save this data in the database, I can do one thing. I can save the whole S1. S1 is presenting the whole record. Yes or no? Because everything is available in the,
Yes.
everything is assigned in the this object. If I will give you that, can you store my data? So instead of storing the individual data, I will provide you S1. You can read everything from S1. Yes or no? S1 dot roll number, S1 dot student name, S1 is school name. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Same thing I can do for the S2. Now I'm going to present Abhi. So for S2, it is presenting Abhi. How I'm going to present it? S2 dot roll number equal to S2 dot student name equal to Abhi. I'm not going to write the complete name, Abhi. Abhi, what would you'd like to give name from your school? Please give me easy one. Yeah.
Ryan, RYAN.
Ryan. Wow. So now you can see, it means in my class, I have created a structure, and in this structure, I cannot show you that what is available in this structure. How you can use it? Only you can use it with the help of creating the object. You created the object. That's why you are able to use it. That you are saying that I'm assigning the value, I'm reading the value only when it is possible. When you created the object, indirectly you will say reference. Yes or no? Say yes or no.
Yes.
Oh, so you have seen that without creating the object. Tell me, if I'm not creating the object, where will I assign the value to my different property of a class? I need a real object. So in general way, you will say S1 is an object, but indirectly, what is S1? S1 is not object. S1 is presenting object. But in the real communication, what happens? We are not going to say reference S1. We say S1 is one object, S2 is second. Is it okay? Now I'm going to print the values for S1 and S2. S1 dot roll number. So let me write something like that. You can understand it. S1 roll number.
So what if you just write only S1, then it will print the entire thing? table.
Yes, actually, instead of giving the individual value from the memory, it is giving you the
Mhm.
location of whole thing. It is saying that this is the location. Now, whatever you want to extract, dot,
Okay.
extract. Are you getting my point? Now it is clear?
Yeah, there's the location. Yes, sir.
Yes, that's why I'm saying that I understand that what is happening there. Java, learning Java is easy. Teaching Java is tough. Are you getting my point? Learning Java is easy because the thing is that you are learning easily. It is a challenge for me that how you are going to understand it. So I have to make effort. Are you getting my point?
Yes.
So, but I will try to complete my responsibility till the time you will not be satisfied. I will try to tell you. So this is S1 school name. Third thing I'm going to write S1 and I will write, oh, here I can write name. Sorry. I don't know why I'm writing wrong. Name here I will write school name.
Actually,
Okay.
can you show like I know it's very advanced right now. Can you show how we will put it into the database? These values. Like now we are printing it.
Nah, that because the thing is that totally different. That is not our role, but I can tell you only one hint. If you want to discuss it, what happens that this is an object, and if you want to store this object in the you can say database. So what is this is Java code and this is database.
Yes.
You need some mediator for that. Yes or no?
Mhm.
Yes.
So that's why you use what you use. You use SQL for that. What you use?
Correct.
SQL queries.
SQL.
And second thing,
SQL
if you don't want to use SQL, there is a concept, maybe you have heard, nowadays it is, I don't know it is used or not, it is called hibernate. Anybody heard use name? Hibernate?
Yes, heard.
Yes, actually, what is that? It is a Java code. Database code is called RDBMS, Relational Database Management System. And when you want to make a thing where you want to communicate from Java to your database, either you have to use a communication media that is called JDBC, Java Database Connectivity. With the help of
Yes.
Java code connectivity, you insert your data from here to there. If you want to use any framework
Correct.
for that, that is called hibernate. Is it okay?
Okay, so like similarly with the help of Java code, directly we can insert. No need to
Yes.
write the SQL queries.
Actually, I cannot tell you this thing here because reason is that otherwise session will never end 6, 7, 8 months. But I will do one thing. Same thing I will show you. I will do one thing. I will do at my end. I have my own database on my system. I will write a code here and share to you. And you will see everything will be here same. Only the data inserting part will be there. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Now you will see I am printing the value for S1, roll number, student name, school name. Okay, let me make it S1. Now same way I can print the value for S2. So this thing, if this thing is not clear to you, everybody tell me, Pradeep, do not move ahead, because if you are not getting this thing, tell me whole Java you are not going to learn easily, right? So anybody, don't think about others, don't see here, this is opportunity, this is not opportunity that you can see the faces of others, है ना? वो हम क्या होता है, we start looking other faces that instead of if he or she can ask the question, I will understand the answer. So here there is no chance, so you have to raise your concern by your own. Okay, now I will do one thing. Let me make a SOP here, just like a blank line, so that you understand where there is a difference between the first record and second record. I'm just putting it here. So now tell me, if I'm going to run this code, what will be the print? What will be the output? Tell me. Tell me. Are you able to see the output here?
Yes.
Tell me who is not okay that this output it has printed is not right, or I'm not getting how it has printed. Anybody who is not clear, tell me. It is okay because it assigned the S1, student roll number 5, student name J, school name Silver Rock, and everything is reference to S1. So where it will go? 5 will go to the here.
S1 memory.
Very good. Where the J will go? S1 memory. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Where the Silver Rock will go? S1 memory. It doesn't mean I have written the instruction in the same sequence. Trust me, if I write this statement at line number 15, it will do the same work. Yes or no? Because you are using
Yes.
Reference value.
reference. You guys are awesome. It means you are getting. I'm doing the effort, but I'm happy that you are trying to learn. I know that the person who is learning Java, maybe first time, maybe it will tough. Where it is going to store? Abhi
S2.
S2. You guys are awesome. Now it is going to store third one, Rayan. Where it is going to store, Rayan?
S2.
Okay. Now tell me one thing. If it is going now, when this code will run, when this code start running from here and just reach to here, till that time, the values of S1, which is stored in the memory, were these one, and for S2 were these one. Yes or no? So if I will try to fetch the memory and try to read the value, it will give the same value. S1 5. Yes or no? S2 name J. Yes or no? S1 school name Silver Oak. Same for S2. Yes or no? Tell me. Anybody who is not clear on this can ask. Is it okay? Yes or no?
Yes.
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 If you are okay, I'm going to test you. I'm going to judge you whether you are getting it or not. So I'm going to do one thing. I have written all the instruction, but at line number 15, I'm writing instruction student name equal to J G. Now tell me what will be the output of this program. Think about it. Don't take you can say don't take
The value will be replaced. J will be replaced with JG.
so it means what will be the output
JG
JG.
instead of J.
instead of that. You are sure?
Yes.
No,
It will replace the
it
value. It
print
will
both the value.
override the value.
Yes.
No.
Overall.
Yes. So now you can see I'm going to run it, because I will tell you one again. I'm saying that I will run it before. Maybe you have not attended my demo session. Okay, so you will understand, but don't worry about that. I'm doing everything again. This is very important part. Now tell me the output is, oh, I've saved. So you can see the output is for S1, it is printing J.
JG.
And it is obvious. Reason is that when the control will goes to the line number 16, actually previous the value was J, but when the control goes to the line number, it access the same location and override the value to JG. So after that, if you will try to access the value for a name, you will get the updated value. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
But now tell me, if I am going to write this statement from here and write it before line number 16, this time what will be the value of S1.student name?
J.
J.
You guys are awesome. It means you are getting this thing that it depends on that when you have updated the value, when you have write the value, and when you are trying to access it. It depends on the step where you are doing it. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Good. It means you are getting that. Is really awesome. So again, I had put it back, right? So now this is the thing. You understand that how it is stored the values in the memory. It create the reference and then store the memory. Okay. Now I will tell you one thing. Okay. Suppose I'm going to make a change here. Okay. So you can try if you know that. If you do not know, don't worry about that. I'm going to write for it. static. There is a keyword in Java that is called static. When I'm going to write this code here, when I'm going to add this thing in the structure, means I have changed the blueprint. I have updated my blueprint. Now, this time, whenever anybody will try to use my blueprint, definitely they are going to see the impact of static. If there is any impact, yes or no? So tell me
Yes.
one thing. This time I'm going to run this program. First thing you will see, if you focus, it start giving a alert, not error. It start giving the alert at line number 9 and 14. Are you able to see this yellow or orange line? Yes or no?
Yes.
I will tell you about that. But before that, I'm going to run this program. Tell me what will be the output. It will be same or something different. You can guess it.
Same.
Same. Let me run it.
No, student roll number and name only.
You will see this time the S1 is printing 5. S1 name is Jay. S1 school name is Rayan and S2 school name is Rayan. Why it is happened here? S1 school name was Silver Oak, and you can see here, and you can see, let me decrease some font here. You can see whole code in one go. Now tell me, this is the whole code. Now tell me, why it is giving the answer Rayan for S1? It is very surprise or very awkward. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Now I will give you the answer. When in your blueprint, when you're in a structure, you have given a static. What do you mean by static? Whenever for any property you use the keyword static, then this property is treated as in a special manner that is called shared. Shared means simple. When any property is defined as static, it means whenever any object is created in the memory, it for these two properties, it will create the separate memory for every object, but this property will be only allocated once as a shared and everybody will refer to it. Are you getting my point? Yes or no? This
Yes.
will, okay, and I will show you. Don't worry about that. If you are not getting, again I'm saying that don't be panic, it's my responsibility. Let me control jet first of all. Okay, or let me make it fresh. This is your memory, yes or no?
Yes.
Every time
Yes.
say yes or no so that I will understand that you are not sleeping. So now again execute same line of code. What will happen? Control will come to this line number 6. It will create an object. Yes or no? Right side.
Yes.
So it will do the same thing. You will see. It will create an object something like this. Okay, it allocated a space of memory for object 1. Now it will go to the structure of student. How many properties are there? 3. It will see that 2 properties are defined without a static keyword, right? And 1 property is defined with static keyword. Are you getting my point? For all the properties which are defined without static keyword, they allocate the memory within the object area. Are you getting my point? One, this is for student name, and this is for student roll number, and this is for student name. Is it okay?
Okay.
Yes.
Murtaja, you are getting?
Yes, I am getting it.
Okay, now you will see when this time only the difference is that when the control come to here, this property was defined as static. Static means your structure, your Java understand that this property is not, this is the property of the object, but I'm not going to assign separate memory for every object. I will allocate a common shared location, something like this. It will be in the memory, but outside the object. Getting my point?
Yes.
Only this
Yes.
is the difference, and you will see. I will tell you the only running of program, and you will give me the answer why it gave the output something like that. Rayan and Rayan. You will tell me. But first of all, let me complete. So this thing happened. It means when it allocated the memory for 3 properties for your class, this part is completed. It will create a reference S1. Yes or no?
Yes.
तो S1 कैसे बनाएगा? Just see how it is going to create the reference. S1 for 2 properties, it is going to refer this address, and for referring the student name, it is going to refer this address. Is it okay?
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Now understand this thing. When control goes to this line, where it is going to store the value, same thing. It is going to store the value for S1 student roll number 5. Where it is stored the value?
5.
Where?
In the
In this
object.
location.
Yeah. Yes.
Because I told you only the pointing is different, otherwise program is going to run in the same way. Where S1 is pointing, it is going to store the value. So student name will be stored where? This. Yes or
In the
no?
object. Yeah.
Yes.
And now this time where it is going to store this value? Where?
Silver Oak. In
Shared.
shared memory.
In the, it is going to store in this location. It is the structure of the it is the structure of the class, that is it is a shared location. But this is completed. This instruction is complete. These lines are completed. Yes or no? Now
Yes.
it will come to
Yes.
this line. Again, it will create the
Correct.
object. So same thing, it will do. Just see what it do one by one, and your doubt will be clear. First of all, create the object for the new object. Then it will
Correct.
do. Then it will allocate the memory. How? It will go to the structure and just see true properties are non-static. Left define the property within the object. Simple. One is here. One is here. One is for
Correct.
student. One is for
Student roll number.
you
Student
guys
roll
are a
number.
student roll
And
number. Yeah, I
then
like it.
student name.
Very good. You are telling I'm like, I really like it that you are doing with me. Okay. So let me now when it will come to the third property, it will say it is static, means it is shared. Now it will check whether I have already assigned or allocated a memory. Because it is static, maybe I've allocated previously. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
So it will see, oh, already a memory is there, which is used for student type. So it will simply do one thing. It will create a reference S2 and going to do same thing. S2 is pointing to this one, and for this common, it will refer this location. Is it okay?
Yes.
चलिए अब अपने प्रोग्राम को let me proceed. आपका काम, your code is completed till now. You will go to here, line number 12. Where it is going to store the value 6? Tell me. S2 roll number. Yes or no?
In the
Where is
object
S?
as roll number. Yes.
Right. So here I'm going to do it. Where it is going to store the value? Abhi. Where?
In the
Student
student
name.
name S2.
Now you guys are telling with me. Or now tell me. Simple rule. Where it is going to use store the Ryan? S2. Where
Common
S2 is?
memory.
Where
Shared
S2 is going
memory.
to point?
Shared.
In the
Shared location.
Common.
yes, in the
Shared
program,
location.
it is simple. It is saying that where S2 is pointing, just go and store it. And your structure says that it is a common location. That's why it is going to override it. Yes or no?
Override.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now tell me
Correct.
one thing. This is completed. When this code will run, it will try to fetch the memory according to a reference. Yes or no?
Yes. Yes.
When
Yes.
S12 is point student roll number, it was 5. S1 student name, it was J. When it is going to point S1, that is student name, actually it was
This is
Ryan.
Ryan. Yes.
Yes or no? That's why
Yes.
it was giving the Ryan, because everybody is working on the same location. So last updated value will get.
Ran.
Now same question is there. If I will write this code S1 control X and write it here, what will be the output? What will be
Silver
the
Open Ryan.
yes,
Same option.
clapping for you, Slaver of.
Same.
And the reason is that when you updated memory at this time, the value of common location was silver
Silver
oak,
oak.
and same time you have accessed it, so you will get the value
That
at
is
what
silver
was,
oak.
and then you updated the value. So that's after that you get it reflect. But otherwise, if somebody will ask you at line number 20, if I will try to print the value of school name for S1, it will be Ryan. Yes or no?
Correct.
Yes.
Yes.
Now your voice is saying that you are getting. Okay, now my effort is working. Great. Okay, now I will tell you very interesting thing, question of the interview. Here you will see only the difference is that, just see what I'm going to do. If I'm removing here static, you will see in your class, Deepak class, you are not getting that alert. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yellow color. Are you
Yes.
getting? But when I'm
Yes.
putting
No.
here static, static, it start giving you not error. That is not error. That is alert. Yellow line. And what is saying? Anybody can read this for me?
The static field student.
Student dot.
Student is school name should be accessed in a static way.
Now the thing is that I told you, when I have told my structure, this is a property which is static, which is shared. So if something is shared, tell me that is related to a particular object or it is common for all.
Is common for all.
Common for all.
So if something is common for all, you can refer it with the help of any object, but actually it is directly related to the class. Yes or no?
Correct.
And you can take the example something. Why I've taken the example of school name. Now tell me, school name is a property, that thing that should be actually shared. Whenever any student going to enroll in the school, automatically you know that what will be the name of his school. Yes or
Correct.
no? So
Yes.
that is the shared. And now tell me one thing, static, why static is related to the class? If you are opening a school, you are defining the class, everything, but you have decided the school name previously. Any object is there or not, it doesn't matter. Yes or no?
Yes.
So that's why if a property is shared, it means it is shared, it means it's static, it means it is related to class. It exists on the, it has a dependency on the class, not on the object. When the class will be there, this object property will be there, every object can access it, right? Are you getting my point? So it is suggesting you that you can use with the help of S1. There will be no effect, but I will advise you, it is not related to any object. So you can access directly with the name of a class. It is a opportunity given to you. Now you tell me, the alert is gone from line number 9.
Yeah.
Error is gone for line number 18.
Yes.
Yes.
And still you are able to see that it is coming at line number 13, because you are trying to access the memory of shared and you are trying to use the S1 specific reference. It is saying that you want to refer, why you are going with the specific one, just use with the help of class name. Are you getting my point? Yes or no? So it is a flexibility given to you that you can access with the name of, directly name of the class. If you use class name, if you use object name, everything will be same. Reason is that it is shared. Yes or no?
Yes.
ठीक है, तो ये आपको एक प्रिविलेज दिया गया है कि आपको इससे फायदा क्या होता है, when you are trying to create any, when you are trying to allocate, refer any property with the name of class, actually you are not taking the help of any object. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. So this is the benefit. Now I will tell you one thing. Now in the structure, when you have made this change, it means whenever this you need any property in your structure which should be shared, you will use the keyword static. Is it okay?
Static. Yes.
चलिए अब मैं आपको एक अच्छा
Yes.
एग्जांपल देता हूँ. Somebody asked me this thing, Pradeep, this should be unique, this should be, that's why I'm saying that by default anything will not be there. You have to make it according to your requirement. Are you getting my point?
Yes.
चलिए, I will tell you another requirement. क्या आपको, can you give me answer here? Suppose take the example S1 S2. Everybody is trying to access. Let me use the S1 S2 so that you can understand the problem statement. Okay. Now tell me, S1 is trying to give the name Silver Oak. S2 is trying to give the name Ryan. It is okay if this structure, this group is presenting, this student is presenting for a different school student. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
But tell me, if I want to make this a structure to present a particular school to a particular school, what restriction should be there? There should be a same name for everybody and nobody can change it. Yes or no? Are you getting my point?
Yes.
आपको क्या लगता है इसके अंदर you are giving unique name for every, but what is the name is same, but any student can change its name. It is something like that. You can take my example. Jay is my student, Abhi is my student, and you can assume this is my group and I am giving you the access of this shared one. So what will do? Jay will say, oh, I will give the name Pradeep's Java class. Okay, and Abhi will say, I will give this Pradeep Selenium class. So at the end, class name will be same, but it is in your control. Yes or no?
Yes.
You are deciding, and any point of time you are changing it. It means name is shared, but anybody can change it. If I want to interrupt it, if I want to stop it, what I can do, I can make a change in my structure and say that you can read this value, but you cannot change it. आप इस वैल्यू को रीड कर सकते हो लेकिन इसको चेंज नहीं कर सकते हो. आप मुझे बताओ what happens in the real world? You go to the school and ask the school, can you change Ryan to the Tian? Or you simply say, I will come to the school, I will use your name, my student will use your name. Yes or no?
Yes.
तो कैसे करेंगे? In that case, you are going to add a keyword here. With static, you are going to add a keyword that is called
Final.
So what is the use of final? First of all, whenever you write this line of code, what will happen? What is the structure? Again, try to understand this thing. In this way, what will happen? Just see. Control Z. Okay. Same thing, just see what I'm going to do here. Again, it will come to the structure to create the object. Yes or no?
Yes.
How many properties are defined? 3.
3.
Okay. It will saying that without any extra keyword, only data type is defined. So it will create the memory within the object. Is it okay? That is clear. Student roll number, student name. Is it okay? In this keyword, he will say property is static. It means it is shared. So it created a shared memory. Is it okay?
Okay.
At the same time, it has seen that one keyword is more defined, final. So what do you mean by final? It means when you create this memory, at the same time, lock it. Same time.
Block.
Now tell me one thing. If this code, I'm assuming if this code is giving any error. Okay. So don't think about that. I will say that it is not giving any error. Okay. In that case, assume that if this line of code is going to do this thing for you, and tell me what happened. If it is logged, can you store some value there? If it is logged, it is created it is in this line number 6, it has created the object, it created the memory. When after that, if you will go to the line number 9, do you think after creating the object, because it has logged at the same time, can you store something there?
No.
And it is giving the same error. You can see and check it. What is saying?
The final field student dot student school name cannot be assigned.
Assigned, iska matlab you cannot write this line of code. Yes or no?
Yes.
You are not allowed to
Yes.
this. But are you able to see any error where it is trying to read the value? कोई error आ रही है जहां पे value को read करा? नहीं. It means you can read it. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Now,
So where do we assign here the name of the school?
sorry, come again.
So where do we assign the name exactly here?
Yes, that's why I'm
While
saying that.
declaring? Yeah.
Yeah, clapping for you. The thing is that I told you that you have to assume that this error is not coming, but it is actually giving you an error. And what is the error?
Blank final field.
Student
school
may
name.
have not. It is saying that
Not.
if you will now tell me again, example of our kitchen. If I'm saying you that, and especially for girls, you will come to your kitchen. I will give you a container. I will say that this is the container, and I am going to, and you have to put it in the kitchen. But just think about that. Once you have put it in the kitchen and you are not going to store anything in it, I will lock it. Yes or no?
Yes.
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 So again, what will say, especially girls, they will say, oh, some container is in my kitchen and it is always empty. So what it is doing here? It is useless. Yes or no?
Yes.
At least you can do one thing. What is that? When you was putting the container in the kitchen, before putting, you can put some value there. At least you can put something like that. You put some sugar. At least it is going to store in the kitchen. You cannot put something in it. Yes or no? But you can at least see it. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Yes or no?
Yes. Yes.
Same thing here in the school name property. If you at the time of declaration, at the time of memory allocation, if you define something like that, RYAN, what will happen? When it will create the memory for the first object first time, it will actually allocate the value. Now think about that. What will be the difference in this case? Before locking it, you have assigned a value here. Yes or no?
Correct.
Yes.
So what is the use? It means after creating this object, nobody can update this value, but everybody can read it, because lock means you cannot update it, but you can read it. Are you getting my point?
Yes.
So
Yes.
आपको
Yes.
पता, तो आपने देखा, you can see here it is giving the error when you are trying to update. You are writing a code of writing to update. When you are trying to read, it is not giving error. Now you can see actually in your program you are not deciding what will be the name of your school. That is already defined in the structure. That is working as a, and you will use a term that is called constant. What do you mean by constant? That value never going to be changed. Yes or
Yes.
no?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
The
किसी को
remaining are the variables. Yeah.
Yes, this is called constant. When you have defined a property, something like that, it is final. So now this property becomes final. Now the complete property will say this school name property is a constant. And you can also say another words, it is a read-only property. Yes or no?
Yes.
Means
Yes.
this is a property. It is a property of a class. It is a property of a class. Every object will contain it, but it is read-only property. Is it okay?
Yes.
So that's why I'm saying that by default you define your property normally, and according to, and this is the thing. This is the thing which you do it, right? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. This is the thing. Now. Okay. So now this is the thing that you understand what is the you can say property and how you can define. So now the thing is that whenever somebody asks you, when you are not using any static keyword, understand this is very important. When you are not using any keyword, only using property and data type, these are property, but they are also known with a specific term that is called instance variable. This is called instance. Why they are called instance variable? Because when any property is related to the object, actually the another term which is used to call object, that is called instance. आप instance किसको बोलते हो? You call it instance. This is the imaginary thing. You create a real instance. Instance means real thing. And what do you call it here in the instance means object. You can call it instance variable or you can call it object variable. Because it depends on the
changes
object.
from time to time. Yeah.
And it depends on
That's
objects. Yes or no? It depends on objects.
Yes.
Yes. And when a property is defined, I'm not talking about static. When a property is defined with a static keyword, then this property is known as class variable. Because this property depends on class. It is shared. So it is related to the class, not particular object. Yes or no? Are you getting my point?
Yes.
We call when any property use the static keyword. It is shared, means it is related to the shared environment. It is related to the class. So it is called class variable. And when you add a keyword final in your class variable, it becomes constant. Getting my point? Every keyword has its own meaning.
So Pradeep, can we use final keyword without static, or we have to use static?
Every time I have seen this question comes into the picture. Yes. And anybody can tell me the requirement. आप मुझे requirement बता सकते हो? That is the valid question. आपको requirement बता. I can use in the, I should use in the student roll number. मुझे यहाँ use करना चाहिए. Can anybody tell me the reason क्यों use करना चाहिए? Because student roll number is also a property that should not be changed. आप मुझे बताओ, when you join your company, they assign you a employee ID, right? After 10 years, you come back and you want to get your details. Your employee ID will be remain same. Yes or no?
Yes, correct.
Yes.
So it means if they change the ID, nobody can refer you again. Nobody can refer you in the company again. Means refer means I'm not saying that your reference for your job. I'm saying that if you somebody want to get the details for you, he cannot get it, because your main thing that should be unique, your employee ID, that is changed. So it should not be changed. Yes or no?
Yes, it will only
Yes.
change again if you rejoin the same company. Back.
If you again, yes. So I'm just taking the ideal scenario that it is you are going to join a company for once you have joined a company. Again, I will give you an example that if you are again joining the company, actually the company should do one thing. They should assign you same ID, and only the thing is that they have changed some status that your reactivation date. That is the best one. Yes or no? So that using
Correct.
same ID, they can track all the things. And this is the also process in the, you can say, real world. In the Amazon, suppose take the example, you have created an ID, the ID will be there. What happens that if you are not making a, if you are not recharging it, or what you will say, if you are not making a premium for that, whatever you are using, after 1 year, they will make it. They are not going to delete your record. They only say that your ID is deactivated. Yes or no? And once you will, after 2-3 years, you will again make a recharge or whatever you will say, they will make same ID, but in the active condition. Yes or no?
Yes, correct.
As iska reason bhi hai. There is a reason behind that. Now tell me what happens that suppose you are a user of Amazon. When you have not activated your ID, if they delete it, how they come to know that after every 2 years they have to send a notification. Please recharge, because your record is with them, your ID is them, your status is not active. Yes or no?
Yes, correct.
Right now, the question is that here comes, if I'm not using static keyword, and I'm telling you every keyword has its own meaning. So it means in this case, it should work something like that. When you are creating the object, this memory will be created for every object individually. Yes or no? Because it is not static. Yes or no? But same
Yes.
time it is final. It means when you create let me take the example same here. In this scenario, what will happen? When the control will come to this line, it will create the object. It will see this properties, roll number, integer type, at the same time final. It is not, if it is not static, it will allocate memory within the object area. That is okay. Yes or no?
Yes.
But it is saying that it is final. It means when it will allocate the memory, lock it. It will lock it. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
So same thing will happen for another object. Yes or no? Tell me. That is the true one. Yes or no? Same thing happen for another one. Yes or no?
Yes.
So now tell me one thing. It is again a waste of memory. Yes or no?
Yes.
Why? I tell you. I will tell. Suppose take the example, it is okay. So in this case, what happened? Every object, I am assuming that again this is not giving any error. आप इसे assume करो कि error नहीं दे रहा है. अगर नहीं दे रहा है, then you will come to the point that it should give error or not. Are you getting my point? I can assume it is not giving error and it is right statement. What will happen in the memory? It will create an object for first object. It will allocate memory for student roll number. It will lock it. Then it will allocate memory for student name, then school name. And if it is not final, school name is not final, it will not lock it, right? And if it is what you will say, if it is final, what it will do, it will assign some value. Yes or no? And then lock it. Yes or no?
Yes.
चलिए अब देखते हैं difference क्या है. What is the difference? Now the thing is that when I have defined it, the student roll number, I have defined it final. What will happen? You will see it is start giving error at line number. It is giving error on line number 7 or yes or no? It is not giving because before that it is giving error on line number 6 in class. Yes or no?
Yes.
चलिए अब पूछते हैं कि इसमें error क्या दे रहा है. What error it is giving? What error it is giving?
The blank final field student roll number may not have been initiated.
बिल्कुल सही कह रहा है. It is
So we have to
giving
assign a value here.
just it. You have to assign a value. But now the problem is that think about that. If I assign a value here, suppose 7, what will happen? Error is gone from here. But in the class, now you
Correct.
cannot assign it. Yes or no?
Yes.
So what will happen? It is going to work something like that. Read only for every object. Yes or no? Now tell me, it means what will be the impact? Whenever, whenever it will create any object, at the time of creating object, it will store the value 7. Yes or no? And then lock it.
Yes.
So now tell me what you are doing for every object. It will do the same thing, store the value 7 and lock it. Now tell me, where is the unique value?
There is no unique one. Yes.
Actually, if you want to achieve that, it is the better way that declare student roll number as a static. At least you will save the memory, because in every memory you are allocating memory every time in every object. Yes or no?
Correct.
अगर आपको
Correct,
यही
correct.
अगर आपको यही अचीव करना था तो इससे अच्छा तो क्या था, इसको शेयर बना के रख लेते, कम से कम you can store, you can save the memory. Yes or no? Otherwise what will happen?
Correct.
If I am creating 10 objects, I am allocating 10 time memory for the student node and I am storing the same value. So what you are doing? Yes or no?
Correct, sir.
Are you getting the problem statement?
Yes.
Yes.
तो इसका solution क्या था कि हमें क्या करना चाहिए कि when we
Static
are
value.
creating the object, जब हम object के create कर रहा है, at that time we should assign the value. लेकिन अभी तक आपको because you know that when the control comes to here, it actually do everything. It reads the property, it creates the memory, everything it do, right? And then it create the object. But if I will tell you, there is a place where it try to do it. एक जगह होती है जहां पे करने की कोशिश करता है. अगर उस now tell me one thing again. I always try to take the example of you can say I always take to the example of the kitchen. That is the best one. Now tell me one thing. If you are preparing a dish, right, and you have to add some sugar or you have to add some salt. Take the example of salt. You are preparing some vegetable and you have to add some salt. Now the thing is that once you have added the sugar, salt in your vegetable and you have added a lot amount of salt there. Now after serving it, can you change it, update it?
No.
Everybody's you can take example of your own husband. He's only can has a option only said, oh wow, you have prepared a very good, but they cannot alter it. But there is a one condition. When you was preparing the vegetable at that time, while preparing, you can decide that what value, what salt you can add it. Yes or no?
Yes.
At the time of creating means why I'm telling you at the time of creating, whenever any object is under the process of creating these things, allocating an object and creating the memory, at that time, at that time, at that time, if you can assign the value, are you getting my point? When the object creation is in the process, at that time, if you'll assign the value, then it is fulfill your requirement. I am understand that you are not getting this point. ठीक है, तो वो आपको समझने के लिए what you have to do one thing. You have to understand the concept of function. तो मैं एक I have already sorry we have only can we do it for 10 more minutes? I will resolve this query so you will be happy.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Yes, yes.
is it okay for everybody?
Yes.
Yes.
चलिए चलिए अब मैं आपको बताता हूँ. Maybe because this is you can say out of the you can say topic, I have to first cover function, but I will try to tell you so that you understand. Now tell me one thing, very interesting thing you will see here. Who is creating the object? Which line is creating the object for you? This one? Yes or no?
Yes.
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 I've told you this line is creating the object. It means something is happening when this code runs. Yes or no?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
अब ये कोड जब रन होता है, मैंने I told you a whole story. When this code runs, it creates the memory, everything with which you are able to see here. Everything is done when you call this object. Just see what happens this when you call this object. If you want to see at runtime, press your control button and click on this one. Where control is going? Where control is going?
Class.
To the blueprint, yeah.
Yes,
Class.
it is going to the
Main.
blueprint. It is going to the class. Okay, it means it is 100% sure whenever you try to call an object, create object, it goes to the class. Yes or no?
Yes.
But
Yes.
when it goes to the class, you will see very interesting thing. In class, actually, I have to cover a topic that is function. But for the time being, you can understand this is a function. STUDNT. I'm going to tell you what is the syntax of a function. Just name any name of your function and use this bracket. This is called function. This is called function. I'm going to take this topic in the detail, but for you understand, because what happened today is Sunday. If your query will be not resolved, rest 5 days you will say, Pradeep cannot solve this thing, and I'm also confused. So that should not be the condition. So I'm telling to wrap. I'm trying to wrap this topic in the short way. Yeah? When I will cover the function part, I will come again. Is it okay? Now you will see one interesting thing. I'm going to do one thing. I'm going to write one keyword here also, public, and just see what will be the difference here. What will be the difference? Just see. I'm going to, oh, I've saved it. Let me do again. I'm going to Deepak class. I'm again clicking here. Where control is coming this time? It is coming to the student class, but it is also coming to the student function. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
इसका मतलब एक चीज तो proof हो गई. Whenever you try to call this line of code to create the object, control actually comes to here. It is a function. Function means the control comes within the body of this function. Yes or no? जैसे कि when you start running your program, the control goes to the main function. Yes or no?
Yeah.
इसका मतलब when you run this code, actually controls goes to this function. और होता क्या है? In this body, you are not able to see anything here, but in this function body, the code is written to create the object. होता क्या है? इसी के अंदर वो कोड लिखा है जो आपका ये सारा काम, the whole project object process you are able to see. This whole process is going to be happen in this body. Are you getting my point?
Yeah.
अब ध्यान से सुनिएगा क्या होता है. I understand, otherwise it will create a problem. मैंने आपसे बार बार एक वर्ड यूज करता हूँ. You have never focused that why I'm using this term. When this line will be completed, this code will be completed, then it will create an object. Yes or no?
Yes.
तो ये कब बनता है? Just think about that. At runtime, what happens? It goes to this function. It goes to this body. Whatever is written in this body, it completes the instruction. And when the control come back to here, your object is created. Yes or no?
Yes.
आपको क्या करना है? जब इसका कंट्रोल यहाँ जाए और इससे पहले ये वापस आए, जो काम आपको करना है आप इसके बीच में कर सकते हो. Yes or no?
Yes.
तो हम देखिए क्या करते हैं. मैंने आपको बताया द होल थिंग that it creates the property object in the memory, everything is written in its body. ये by default लिखा गया है. Don't worry, आपको इसलिए दिख रहा है because it is not useful for you. वो आपका किसका? जावा का काम है. So they have written by default. Yes or no? अच्छा, आपको ये भी प्रूफ करता हूँ. Let me first of all prove it. When you run it, the control is coming here. आप बोलोगे प्रदीप ऐसा नहीं है, ये प्रदीप ये स्टूडेंट कुछ और है और यहाँ पे जो फंक्शन लिखा है कुछ और है. मैं आपको प्रूफ करता हूँ. When I am running this thing, I have not created that function there. It was not giving any error. कोई error दे रहा था, लेकिन यहाँ पे क्या ये कैसे प्रिंट कर रहा है, कैसे प्रूफ करूं? अगर मैं if I can write some statement here, अगर मैं यहाँ कुछ लिख दूं और वो प्रिंट होना शुरू हो जाए, इसका मतलब it is calling yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes.
क्योंकि ये मुझे ये it will actually prove my statement. Control goes to here. I told you. इसके अंदर जो इंस्ट्रक्शन लिखे हैं वो तो एक करेगा ही, साथ में मैंने जो लिखा है उस काम को भी करेगा. Yes or no? और तब ये बाहर आएगा. आपको प्रूफ कैसे करता हूं? Let me run it again. It is printing GGG and you will see before every new student. How many times I've called it? One time here, one time here. So how many times it is printing?
Right.
Are you getting it? It means you are agree on it that whenever I'm trying to create an object, actually it is going to this function and it is doing everything which I told you about the memory process, right? It is doing that thing also. I have added my instruction. It is doing same this thing also. Is it okay? Yes or no?
Yes.
तो चलिए अब एक काम करते हैं. हम क्या करते हैं? एक इंटरेस्टिंग थिंग. आपके you was getting the error at line number 6 because you are not assigning the value and it was giving the error. Yes or no? तो हम इसको करते हैं, काम करें. Now you'll see. मैंने ये फंक्शन I have make it visible in front of you. मैंने खुद बना के इसको visible कर दिया. फायदा क्या हुआ? If I remove it, now it will not give you error. कोई are you able to see any error at line number 6?
No.
But it is giving a error at line number 10. 7 पे नहीं, 6 पे नहीं दे रही. It is giving. Now tell me what is the error here? Can you tell?
Roll number is not aside the value.
अब आप मुझे बताओ. You can tell me why it is giving the error at line number 10. It was coming before. A reason is that because Java knows that the assigning process is actually going to happen in this function.
Here, yeah, you will scan here.
Yes, actually it was trying to, and because before it was not visible. You will see if I will not make it visible. Control X. Where error is coming now?
No.
Because
At the line number 6 itself.
yes,
Yeah.
because it's thought that this is a final, and by default the function object function is already there, and because nobody is doing anything with it, by default I will make it and lock it. Yes or no?
Yes.
And when I make it visible, Java assume that, oh, he has created this function. It means maybe he's doing the initialization process in this function. Yes or no? And I'm going to do it. Yes or no? Just see one by one. I have assigned student roll number equal to 7. Error is gone. Yes or no?
Yes.
But still the problem is same. What happens? Every time when you will call this time constructor, it will come to here. In the student, it will store 7. And when next time you will control from here, it will again put the 7. Yes or no?
Yes.
But now you can resolve with the concept of a function. Function says that you can make your function parameterized. How? When the control will come to your this function in the class, you can pass some value where you are creating the object. How? You can do one thing. In this bracket, you can pass the value. Just pass what value you want to pass for roll number. Just pass, suppose 5 you want to pass it here and 7 you want to pass it here. Are you getting my point?
Yes.
This is the place to pass the value. But when you are passing here, your this function, which is actually called constructor, this function should have a capability to receive this value. Yes or no?
Yes.
अभी receive कैसे करता है देखो. You will go here and make this function in this place as a parameter. You will say when somebody will call this function, I will take some parameter. You can give something name. In short, you can say roll number, or you can this time make different name ID. Is it okay?
Yes.
So what will happen? Just see, when anybody calls this function student, this value, this function, a special function they will call, this value also come with them and it will store it here. And this value I'm going to assign for. Are you getting my point?
Yeah.
So what will happen when this code will run? Just see what will happen. I'm going to save it. This line of code will give error because reason is that once object is created, you cannot reassign value. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes.
But where I have
Yes.
assigned the value, I have assigned the value while creating the object. That whole process was happening here. So what I do, when the first S1 was creating the object, I pass the value 5 and go to here. In this student, I store it 5. When control come back to here, when control come back to here, then it will lock it. Yes or no? Yes or no? So it means what will be the case when the first object will be created? What will happen? Just see, the code will come to here. It will come to here. It will assign an object, but where? Using the standard process, and every process is within it. So it will do one thing. It will allocate a memory student roll number within the object, in the shared memory. Okay, but before doing everything, making all the things, it will see one instruction is also written here. I have to complete it there. Then I will make a object. Okay, yes or no? So when it come to here, it assign the value ID, which is passed by the object constructor, that is 5. Where? In the student roll number. Now when the control come back to here, everything is logged according to the structure. Is it okay? Yes or no?
Yes.
Same thing will happen. It is only doing when it is creating the object. Jab it is going to create an object of 7 for S2, it will again go to here. This time it will took the value for S2 7. 7 will go here. 7 will be stored here. Then after that, it will do everything which is written in the property signature. Like it should be final, it should be static. Are you getting my point?
Yes.
So now in your program, you have take benefit that you will run the program. Both the object contains the unique memory, unique value. But if anybody will try to change it any point of time, nobody can change it. Once the control will go after this line, nobody can change it. Are you getting my point? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
और यही logic आपका they use your developers use this logic to create the unique ID in your class. और ये ऐसा क्यों? अच्छा ऐसा करते भी क्यों? आप मुझे बताओ. When you join your company, then your ID is decided, or before you are joining your company already decide that in the future one person will come, I will assign an ID. Tell me, when you join the company, at the time of joining the company, you assign a property ID. Yes or no?
Yes.
And that is not going to be changed. मैंने भी यही किया. When this function is actually doing everything, every process for you to creating the object, at that time assign a value, and after that it is not going to be changed. So now you can see the difference. This will called instance constant. ठीक है, इसको बोलेंगे instance variable, but it is instance variable. You can use a term that will more good. It is instance variable, but it is also read only. Yes or no?
Yes.
At the time of creating the object, whatever value have you assigned it, that will remain same for whole life. So what is the difference between this one and this one now? This should be used for any unique value. And you know that in database, this is also known as primary key. Yes or no?
Yes.
आप अपने टेबल में प्राइमरी की बनाते हो, व्हाट इज द पर्पस ऑफ दैट? इट शुड बी यूनिक एंड यू नेवर चेंज इट। कोई भी अपनी आईडी को चेंज नहीं करता कभी भी डेटाबेस में। देखना, यू ऑलवेज फेच द रिकॉर्ड, सिलेक्ट स्टार फ्रॉम स्टूडेंट टेबल वेयर आईडी इक्वल टू समथिंग। कोई आईडी चेंज कर देगा? टेल मी, you are able to fetch the specific record?
No.
So today you got some idea that how you can relate that what is class, what is object, how you can define different type of properties, and how you can relate it the real world. Real world means your user information, your table, everything you can relate. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Maybe because the thing is that you asked me this question, I don't want to put you on a doubt. That's why I have told you. Otherwise, this thing I will always tell after a topic that is called functions. जब आप function पढ़ोगे, then you understand this is also a function, and this function is also named with a specific name that is called constructor. ठीक है? But I have tried to. Maybe you are not understand. Don't worry. I will tell you about that why we are passing this thing, why it is called parameter, something like that. I will tell you in the next section. In the next section, we will cover the topic functions. Is it okay?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Before binding the session, tell me anybody who is not clear on any concept, because when you leave the session, your doubts will be clear. At least, if you are thinking that my doubt will not clear today, it is not going to clear tomorrow. Anybody?
So one thing, will object always be the same name as class?
No. Object. Actually, the thing is that is object type. Object. Let me tell you what you want to say. Object name is actually, you will say this is the object name, right? Actually, this you can say reference is actually treated as an object name. Object को तो आप क्या कर सकते हो? You cannot never see the object. Yes or no? How you identify this object? That's why I'm saying that in your real coding, you always use term object for this S1. S1 is an object. Yes or no? आप क्या बोलो? अच्छा मैं बोलूं कि S1 नहीं है, तो आप किसको बोलोगे? Object किसको बोलोगे? Are you getting my question?
Yes. Yes.
So actually S1, S2, you are giving the name of the object. S1, S2, these are the name that is technically treated as a reference. But these are, you are saying that this is S1, this is S1 object, this is S2 object, right? And this is the name of the object. You can decide anything you can take. You want to take is S11, Y1, any name you can take. It depends on your choice. But the condition is that the type of this reference, the type of this name should be student. Getting my point? Haji, if your doubt is not clear, you can tell me. Don't worry about that. Tell me. Yes or no?
Yes. Got it.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, tell me. Anybody else? Especially the girls will tell me, because I've taken so many examples from the kitchen. So you should understand more. Tell me. If you are not clear on any concept, I can tell you right now. Is it okay?
Yes, okay.
Okay, you can do one thing. Just see the recording this and just try to understand, try to relate it. If still not you will understand, I will tell you again. Okay, but I'm sure that just only 2 times see this recording and also try to understand some concept from the internet. Try to see that what they are saying, that then you can relate it. Is it okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I want to see again that there should be a good communication in the WhatsApp. You will see just your 4 in your 17th batch. I'm taking the second session, I think, right? And in 16 batch, I have already taken 4 sessions. You can say how the persons are so much, you can say, fascinated. They try to write the program. Oh, this is 17. Let me sorry. Where is 16? This one. You can see people are trying to ask the question, and the main thing is that I'm not giving the answer, they are giving answer to each other. Are you able to see? Shift does not work for me. The person Gaurav is giving the answer, and you can see in same way Pahlavat, she is giving the answer. So what is they are trying to do? Actually they are utilizing this group to solve problem of each other, and when you try to solve the problem each other, you will learn it. Yes or no?
Yes.
You can see they are writing the program. Trust me, they are trying to. I have just given this one program that can you test it, try it. They are trying, and another person is giving the answer. You are getting this time this point of error. So this is the good thing. And you have to also do this thing. You have learned few concepts, but you can raise your concern. Like Murtaja, can you tell me? Don't put a particular name. Can anybody tell me that I'm confused on what is reference object? And another person will try to give the answer, and you will making a practice. It is a benefit both the person. Are you getting my point?
Yes.
Telling it is too late. It is too late. I know that. So I'm binding the session for the day. We will meet next week. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Okay,
Pradeep.
thank you.
Pradeep.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Good night.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Nice.
Right, everyone.